Chelsea 2, Brentford 1. They go to within 2 points of Liverpool at the summit of the Premier League table. Hit the like buttons. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace. Welcome back to what has been a sensational, scintillating, beautiful, and memory-inducing Sunday, to say the goddamn least. Spurs with a 5-0 away win over Southampton. Most of us thought they would pick up the points there, but in that first 35 minutes, they were emphatic, clinical, deadly. That type of performance has been too few and far between for Spurs, but that will be some serious medicine and remedy to those Spurs. I wonder how many Tottenham fans online, I'm calling you out, Deji, will be calling Big Ange a fat pig today, I wonder. But as ever, I want your thoughts, feelings, opinions, and of course, your full fan highlights. Your full fan highlights of the 2 games that we have just witnessed. Missed 90% of the game buffering. Well, that's why you need NordVPN, which you can get by scanning the QR code, and then just use Sensational Sports like I do. No buffer, a little bit of buffering because of your internet, but you get the streams. Get it done, Nick. Scan that QR code, sign up to NordVPN, and then just use the Tanta Sport. I'm telling you guys, all you've got to do, it's so simple. This is it here. It's the Tanta Sport. Sign up, get all your football. You can see the spellings of it all. Just go and get it done. Sign up to NordVPN. Best VPN provider in the world. No one does it as well as them by scanning the QR code, and go and get yourself signed up, my brother. Go and get that done. What are you guys saying about red? What happened? Why are you guys saying never a red? What have I missed? What have I missed? I turned the TV off. What have I missed? What have I missed? Hang on. What have I missed here? Who got sent off at the end of the game? Is it Cucurella? Because he was booked. Did he get sent off? Oh, after the final whistle he got sent off? Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I pretty much turned the television off as soon as it was done. Wow. Or the TV that I stream on. Damn. Someone said a bit of handbags. There we go. Look, I know Spurs had the bigger results today, but I do think the bigger talking point is Chelsea. And I said it last week that Chelsea were dangerous. I believe they're in a title race until they're not. And they'll take so much from today, Chelsea. The last 10 minutes of that game, they conceded a goal. There was 7 minutes of time added on. You could hear the nerves. You could hear the nerves in the stadium. I had my TV up loud, but you could hear the crowd started to die down. The players were looking a little jittery, and you thought, wow, with the late consolation goal to Brentford with their towels up, they'd hit the crossbar a few months. Could they? Could there be a sting in the towel? Could Liverpool completely and utterly, mathematically speaking, of course, get away with a poor weekend for themselves at the summit of the English Premier League? And the reason Chelsea will take so much from this game is that they were able to ride that storm. They were able to get through those nerve-wracking, able to get through those tense moments to be able to pick up the 3 points, beat a team that they have not beaten in the Premier League before, go to within 2 points of Liverpool at the top, with a number of very winnable games ahead of them, right through until near on the end of January. I was really impressed with Chelsea in the first half. I thought it was a very dominant performance from them. Only to be leading 1-0 was just down to bad finishing, good goalkeeping, etc. The opening goal, a wonderful cross from Noni Madueke. Wonderful cross, well finished by Marc Cucurella. I know he's ended up with a red card in this game. I didn't have my monitor on when that happened. But what a revelation he's been in the last 12 months. An excellent goal. Second half, look, Brentford started to attack a little bit more. I felt that Chelsea maybe should have put them to bed a bit earlier. Jackson, he missed an absolute gilt-edged chance, an absolute sitter that he should have been burying, but he did make up for it not too long later with another very, very good goal, his 9th of the season. And when it was 2-0, you just felt comfortable win. And I will say this to Chelsea fans. The older Chelsea supporters will remember that even in those two back-to-back years of Jose, probably the two best league teams in Chelsea Football Club's history, there was a number of games that you won narrowly. One of the famous ones to me, and I want to say it was Bradford or Wigan. It might have been Wigan. Paul Jewell was the manager, so I think it was Wigan. Opening day of the season. I think it was the 05-06 season. And very fortuitous to win. I think it was a 1-0 victory, but Wigan were really in the game. You went to win the league that year. These things happen. You won't win every game 4 or 5-0. There'll be these tense moments where, oh, we could have lost it. Oh, we'd have dropped points if that would have gone in. By the way, what a save. Norgard, Sanchez, absolutely impeccable. But the reason why I'm talking about this game with such importance is there's individual things we can break down and talk about. But you have to win games like this if you're going to win a title. It's not always about you young uns that have maybe been, especially if you're a young supporter whose team hasn't won the league, maybe a little bit indoctrinated by Football Manager and FIFA, where you've got to be good in every game to win things. Even Man City, when they were doing Centurions, go back and if you go and watch extended highlights of all their games, the amount of them where you go, how did they get away with that win today? Oh, I thought they were going to drop points and they came back to win the match. That's what good teams do. And I think Chelsea's players will take so much confidence from the way they won today. The better team couldn't quite finish their dinner all the time, got the lead, nearly got dragged back, went through some really tense times, but came through as winners. That does something for your confidence. It makes you believe. So I feel, look, the better team today, 2 very well taken goals, by far the better team. But I think the way they won, the nerves, etc., will stand Chelsea in such good stead as they go into more difficult periods of this season. I want to say as well, a player that is probably going to get accolades, but I'm not going to ignore them just because the world's going to celebrate him. Caicedo today was sensational. Recently, there's been a lot of conversations, him or Gravenberch as the best 2 sort of DMs so far this season in the league. I'm taking nothing away from Ryan Gravenberch. Nothing away from him in any way, shape, or form. I'm not doing it. Caicedo, for me, is better. I'm not saying clear, because that implies massively better. And I think that is exceedingly disingenuous to say the least. But he is better. He is better. And his performance today, I know Gravenberch isn't a DM, but he's playing there. We're talking about where they've been playing this season. So let's just stop nitpicking on that. We know where he's played this season. Caicedo today and every other game this season has been a monster. He's been a monster. Covers every blade of grass, the tackles, the interceptions, the ground jewels. But to add to his tenacity and his energy, is his ability on the ball. Now, he isn't the guy who's getting the assist. He isn't the individual that's making the beautiful pass that makes a goal. But what he does so well is he'll break the first line. For instance, in a press, he's very press resistant. He will be that conduit between the defense and the attack. And he's just so comfortable on the ball. And his growth in the last 12 months at Chelsea has been amazing to watch. He's a phenomenal player. He's performing on the pitch the way in which we all thought he would. He's doing everything at Chelsea now that he was doing at Brighton. You've got Basuma at Spurs, who's had a few games like it, but never been able to maintain that Brighton form away from there. Caicedo is doing that in such an impeccable, brilliant, fantastic way. His first sort of 3 to 6 months, by his standards, were poor. The last 12 months, I think he's been out of this world for them. I also think as well, Enzo Fernandez, I think deserves another. Yes, there was GA again today, but if you put that's a really good thing. I'm not dismissing it, but I thought his performance overall again today was very, very strong. And yeah, both of them too, and Caicedo's been doing it longer now in the Chelsea set, are just starting to perform the way in which the £250 million that was spent on them should perform. And there's something really positive in that. And I think Chelsea fans should own how much they spent on them. 1, shows great ambition of your football club. 2, if a player can perform against their price tag, you should be buzzing. If you look at all the biggest transfers, the biggest, 20 20 to 25 transfers in the history of football. Look how many of them flop. Look at how many of them don't go to the level expected. The fact that your boys are starting to do it, you should own it. It's a flex. The problem is, it's not a flex for Twitter or TikTok for those basic-minded people. It's a flex for you guys. Trust me. Go and check it out. Just go through the list of players that have done okay, flop, not quite made, go and read them. You want a player on that list who's delivering. It's a bigger flex than trying to pretend it. Oh, you've added an extra 2 million on the add-ons. No, I'd start owning it, bruv. That would be me personally. But there we go. Overall, I've been saying it for a while now that Chelsea are an excellent side. An excellent side. They're getting better and better and better each week. I know there's a lot of Chelsea fans that want to play down being in a title race. I must have had about 300, 400 if I'm being conservative about it. People message me this week, leave comments on the videos. Terry, we're not in the title race. Please stop saying it. I'm not going to stop giving an opinion whether my viewers like it or not. I believe Chelsea are in the title race. We're almost at the halfway stage. They're 2 points off the top. January is just around the corner. I think Chelsea might invest more money. I think Chelsea are only scratching the surface at how good they could become. And as the confidence starts to grow within this Chelsea team, as these young players start to develop, games like today will inject so much confidence into their day-to-day lives, themselves as football players. You may start to see that improvement of the team accelerate a lot quicker. You may very well see that. And listen, Chelsea, you're in this race. Liverpool fan, any Liverpool fan writing off Chelsea, listen, you may end up being right, but you're guessing. You're guessing at this point. Oh, they'll fall off. You're just guessing. Same as anyone who thinks Liverpool is going to fall off. I think you're guessing, in my personal opinion. Let's go to some of your super chats that have come through here. Did the ref forget yellow cards? Caicedo, not even a card. Well, he was already booked. So that's obviously, I haven't seen the incident, so I can't give an opinion on it, I'm afraid. Missed 90% of the game with it buffering. I told you, sort out NordVPN. 7 points clear of City. Oh my God. Well, look, do you know what that's significant? Is a lot of people still think City are going to turn their season around. Rightly or wrongly, a lot of people still think that's going to happen. So the further you get ahead of them, the better. To be 7 points clear of them is great. Kuka, light push on Jord, little push, game's gone. Do you know what, though? Do you know what annoys the rule in football annoys me? I haven't seen it, so I could get this wrong. I've seen it where a player does nothing wrong. An opponent runs up and squares up to him. And because he stands his ground, he also gets booked. It's actually quite crazy that happens. A hard work mentality. We fight. Cucurella rest versus Everton. Yeah, that might be a good thing for him. That might be a good thing. Oh, Robert Sanchez. Great performance, Sancho. Caicedo on fire. Enzo Fernandez, another assist. Can now celebrate it. Hold that, haters. Yeah, I will. Look, Robert Sanchez gets a lot of criticism. I don't think long-term he's a good enough goalkeeper. But the save from Norgard, especially, amazing. And then another thing that might not get credit. But it's in my head. When Carvalho hit the crossbar for Brentford, go back and watch the replay. I don't know if you're watching on a big screen, a little screen. Maybe it was buffering. Maybe you're streaming. Sometimes these things go wrong. I think it was Colwell. He gets the minutest touch. And I feel that if that touch didn't happen, Carvalho's contact makes the ball go in. Could have been a very, very different game indeed. Was it Caicedo or Kante on the pitch today? Listen, I'm not a massive fan of Caicedo's the new Kante or Ahmad is the new whoever. I don't like that. And I will big up Ahmad today. My bro. Caicedo's Caicedo. And he's just out of this world. I love how Tottenham go 5-0 and all we care about is Chelsea. Well, it's the more significant game because of what it means for the Premier League, I would say. People do too much with Sanchez. Several games he has saved us. Check out XG conceded versus goals conceded this season. Definitely an upgrade on Kepa. I don't think it's his shot stopping, though, Neil, that people have a problem with. It's where his distribution from the back and the mistakes that it can create. Hashtag road to 40 points. Nobody's buying that. Dyke says no title race. We just want 3 points. Listen, I'll be honest with you guys. I've been in this game too long. I know there's a lot of YouTubers now, a lot of content creators. I'm one of the originators. I can see a pile of bullshit. I can see it when I'm asleep with my eyes shut. Do you know what I'm saying? Your manager saying that to play down the expectation. I know what you're doing. And if it was Man United in your position, you'd all go, no, you're in the race. You know me, I don't set people up to knock them down. I just give my honest opinions. Right now, you're in the title race. There's no shame if you don't win the league from this point, from where you started this campaign. But I think you guys should be happy. You should be embracing it. And I think with the way you guys are saying no title race is your way of saying, we in it, but I don't want to jinx it. It's like me today, right? I kind of the whole Man United game thought we were going to win. But I hadn't gone onto my phone the whole time. I was sitting a certain way on my chair, and I'm very superstitious. So I didn't go on my phone. I didn't move. And then I didn't move. I was like, I'm going to make this work. And it happened. And I'm like, see, this superstition stuff makes sense. I get it. Liverpool phase will come. Might not be long, but it will come. Listen, Liverpool might be in their phase now. Drop points to Newcastle. Played okay. Didn't play that well against Fulham in spaces and drop points. Weren't very good against Girona. Made massive mistakes against Fulham and dropped points. You may find they're in their bad period now if you actually look at the performances, but that's just my personal opinion. Time for the panel. Actually, before I bring the panel out, I will just shout on Tottenham as well. I want to speak on Tottenham because that was the game that I watched the least, just because I was in the match reaction for the Man United game as well. I know Southampton are not very good, but I don't want to take anything away from Tottenham. They scored 5 goals today. James Maddison, he doesn't do... I'm not talking about the goals because no one should expect him to score every match. James Maddison today was world-class, and his second goal... I'm going to say Ahmad's today was better because of why circumstance. But in terms of the finish, I don't even know how he got it into the goal. It was amazing. Spurs were absolutely sensational in that first half, and they were clinical, and they put the game to bed. It sets up the Man United Tottenham quarter-final this Thursday very nicely, both getting different types of wins as we go into that game. So I'm not looking forward to playing them at all after today's result. I'm intrigued to know what Tottenham fans think, though. Is it because there was obviously a massive buzz when they beat City, a much better team than Southampton, 4-0, and then they had a really bad run? I'd love them to break it down. I wasn't watching the Spurs game as intently. I saw the goals. I saw the first 35 minutes. I was more intrigued by the Chelsea game in the second half, if I'm being honest. Because it was already over, I kind of stopped watching it. So, listen, Spurs fans, I'd love to hear from you on that. I'd love to get your opinions on it in the comment section below. But listen, you've got to congratulate them today. You have to. They scored 5 goals. Really big win. Maddison, amazing. I think Son got himself at least one today. Caicedo, all of them look great. All of them look great today. They really did in the attack. They look very, very dangerous indeed. Chelsea just chill, guys, getting 3 points. Yeah, ain't buying it, bruv. Oh, Enzo Maresca is what Shane says here. C says we have a championship manager with 40-plus players. Where is Felix going to get chains? We're just trying to get top 4 and make it back into Europe. Of course you are, C. It's funny, really, because those clips from the terrace in the summer have been going viral the last few days. Go back and watch it. First thing I say to Tom Little when he says you got a championship manager is, how many games, Tom, have you watched him manage? Go back when Don said that if you guys keep players fit, you could be in the title race this year. Watch the whole panel laugh but me. Just go back and watch it. The clips are out there. I didn't think you'd be this good this quick this season, but I knew you'd get better. They never believe us. God did. Big up yourself, my friend. Big up yourself. David Moe and Winter Surfer joining me now on the show. Get those likes up, those people. We should be smashing well past 1,000 likes on here. Let's get that done right now. I also want to thank everyone. I know a lot of the Chelsea boys did tune into the United stream earlier. Record-breaking Man United stream for a game we won. Some of the games we've lost before, we've done stupid numbers on it, but over 110,000 views already for a game that we've won is record-breaking for the first day that we've been out. So thank you to everyone who tuned into that earlier on today. And thank you to Ahmad for giving me a very good, but not early, my birthday's on Tuesday, birthday present. So thank you. Don's here, actually. He says, we move. The bridge was rocking after the final whistle. We move. It's rocking because you man are in a title race, bruv. And the job I like about Don, at least Don's got the ball bags to say it. He gets his bollocks out, not literally, metaphorically, and he says it. And big up Anita as well that said the same thing. Let's bring the boys out now. Mo's here, David's here, Winter Surfer's here. Welcome, gentlemen. Congratulations on the win, boys. David, it was nervy towards the end, though, but big win indeed.
We love making it difficult when we've dominated the whole game. Don't know why, but that's Chelsea, innit? But again, it was, considering we've not beaten Brentford since they got back in the Prem, relatively comfortable performance for 89 minutes. So, like, they had that one chance with the Colwill, and Colwill literally got his toe on it. But apart from that, they didn't really do too much where I was like, oh my gosh. We created a lot of chances in the first half. We should have been 2 or 3 up. So that's, that's how it is. But just chill, guys, chasing 3 points. We're still in the qualifying stage. For me, that's how I define title race. Title race don't start game week 1. So
I hear.
We're just trying to put ourselves in the best position to capitalize later on down the line. But 5 wins in the Prem for the first time in I can't even remember. So we're on good form and we're rolling. So it's good to see.
Couple of points about Chelsea. Sorry, Serper. I know you're a Chelsea fan. You're buzzing. But cheer up first. Or just smile, bro. You just won 5 games on the bounce. You've had 10 games not losing.
7 games on the bounce they've won in all comps.
Yeah, but 10 games, guys. 10 games. Chelsea have not lost a game. Even though with all the defensive fragility, they still find a way to win the games. And the 2 points I want to make today, everyone would have shat their bed at 2-1 with these big guys from Brentford crashing the 18, and they're trying to put balls ahead above the Chelsea guys when Kukurea fighting and everyone. That is number one. Maresca from the sideline, literally. I like a manager who's very vocal, and his voice was coming on the feed, and he's yelling at them to go up, not to be back and just chill back. That's one. Number 2 is that 3-4 times today, when Brentford were putting the ball in the area of Chelsea, they actually anticipate that Sanchez is going to get it, or one of the Chelsea guys are going to intercept, and they're going on a quick counter, which mimic what Liverpool have been doing since the beginning of the season. That is something Chelsea didn't used to do. We used to accuse Chelsea of being slow. They weren't slow today on the counter. It's so quick and to the point, like they want to reach the goal from the shortest distance possible. So to be honest with you, I just want to say that even though it was 2-1 nervy, if I'm a Chelsea fan, I'm sitting there and saying, my team is resolute. My team is composed. My team knows how to get the job done. It's not us saying that Chelsea are going to win the league or anything, but this guy, Enzo Maresca, has proven me wrong. Number one, I raise my hand and say, you didn't have the resume, but it looks like you're someone who knows how to manage the team. By the way, he didn't sub Madueke off, even though Madueke looked frustrated. He kept him on the pitch, which is something that he's looking for, the team being together and everyone is together. This Chelsea team, to be honest, looked like one of the best teams in the league. And people said, oh, Mo, why you're saying Chelsea play good football? I enjoy watching Chelsea. Terry's a Man United fan, and he's watching Chelsea. I'm enjoying this Chelsea team because I didn't expect them to play that well. And I enjoy good football, and they play good football. Palmer today looked good. Sancho looked good as well. He's finding the best out of Sancho. People that slag off Madueke, so direct today. Even the commentators said, he's very direct. The guy is... They had to double on Madueke. It's the last thing I'm going to say. The people that say Madueke is rubbish, there is a reason why Thomas Frank today was doubling on Madueke every time he got the ball. That means he's so direct and he knows the dangers come from his side. That is the points of Chelsea today, is that 2 points of Liverpool. Nobody expected you to be here. And here we go. It was sitting here 5 wins on the bounce, people. Can you believe it? It was supposed to be City or Arsenal. Can you believe it?
Well, I think what's also really important about that, even if you're like David, who doesn't believe a title race starts yet, which I can completely understand, a lot of people, I'm not going to name names and throw shade, they're Football Terrace people. Just keep it to the Football Terrace sort of panelists. The amount of people, some Chelsea fans, but predominantly Arsenal fans, a lot of Liverpool fans, after you got rid of Poch, hired this manager, they were laughing at the prospect of top. It wasn't just titles. It was top 4. No. So I think even if you're a Chelsea fan that doesn't believe you're in a title race as of yet, I think you have surpassed so many people's expectations so far. But it isn't just a sort of flash in the pan. Oh, you've scraped a couple of wins and you still look you're getting better and better. And the sobering fact for rivals is you're nowhere near optimum level yet, because I still think this team over the course of time can become better and more solid defensively. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, we are in the top. For me, we are in a title race. I keep saying we're in a title race. Longer we're in a title race, the longer our main objective of finishing in top 3 is. But I want to side note, because I don't really like him, but I want to credit Sanchez today. Very good performance from Sanchez, distribution, and made a good save. You know, it's offside, and made another good save from the volley and caught everything that they had. So very good. And Caicedo is, I mean, I say it again, Caicedo is our most important player in this Chelsea team for me. He's the most important player. He makes all the difference. He broke everything up today. He was all over the pitch. Jackson scored a goal, but should have had 2 because he ballooned one over the bar from about 3 yards out. But it was apart from like 15 minutes where they hit the bar, I didn't think we lost control or anything like that. It was just just that one of those games where it was 1-0 and it was getting into like the 70th. It's getting to the 70th minute, and we've all seen those games where that other side just has their chance. They haven't been doing well, and that was the chance. That was
it happened. It happened 45 minutes before you kicked off. A team was losing 1-0 in the 88th minute and went on to win. And it can happen, especially, listen, I'm taking nothing away from Ahmad, but it can happen when you've got a defense that's poor. And if you compare the way you guys defended through that adversity today versus the way Man City collapsed after that they conceded the penalty, it's night and day. And you can, if you were to have both games up on a screen at the same time and play it, you can see a palpable difference in the energy levels, the work rate, the determination, and the confidence that your players have. When you can actually argue that in certain positions like defense, City probably have the better players, but your guys, like, it's like I know it's a bit of a cliche comment people hate, but it's like they want it more. Does that make you? There's more.
I think our team's just got a bit more. I think our team's just got a bit of belief. I think we've gone from being the team where it's like we're playing well and everyone's like, oh, we're just playing a really good game. I think the players actually now believe we're actually a good team that should be winning these games. And mentally, you can see it on the field. We're just not. We just let, like, when we have the ability to kill games off or to score another goal, we'll do it. But the team just is now starting to genuinely believe that they're good enough. And the first game where I noticed that was the Leicester game when we trounced Leicester. They got 1 goal at the end, but they blocked. I remember when when Madueke blocked Palmer's shot and it was going in, and they laughed about it. And I was like, normally if you're really under pressure, you'd react a very different way to that. But ever since that game, these players have just started to believe we're going to win this game. We're going to win this game. We're going to win the next game.
I just want to mention that I know it's Brentford, but we've not beaten them in the Premier League at home since they came up. This is significant for us to get not only fans but the players out of their mind that we have beaten Brentford at home. I know it doesn't mean much. People go, oh, it's only Brentford and their away record is rubbish. That's fine. But we haven't beaten. They smashed us 4-1 at home once. Do you know what I mean? They have.
Two of the last 3 games were 2+ goal margins for Brentford. Exactly. By the way, there's people that don't know. I wanted to touch on the title race thing, and this is why I wanted to Chelsea to win. But I still have to say, Sam said that Mo said that Chelsea are in a title race until they're not. I actually disagree with that. I actually said it the other way. Until March and February come in and Chelsea are still within 2 or 5 points, I'm going to say they have a chance. Chelsea still have a slim chance. The reason why, and I'm going to repeat that again, Chelsea at the current moment, and people can challenge me on this, if you look at this team in the beginning of the season, and even now, there is not a lot of players that play in this team that are called title-winning players. If you compare bar Leicester over the past 20 years, if you look at the teams that won the title, from the Chelsea Ancelottis to the Man City's Mancini and everyone, none of these players are title-winning players yet. Sancho is not a title-winning player yet. Medwake is not. Jackson is not. The only one that I can say, the only two that I can say they are is Caicedo and Palmer, to be honest. The rest of them are not yet title-winning players. And that's, I'm going to put the statement out. If Maresca win this title, this is the second most surprising title win after Leicester over the past 20 years. Since Mourinho came to the Chelsea team, probably. Because before that, when Arsenal won it in 98, maybe that team.
Do you know what, though?
Think about it this way, and you will know where I'm coming from.
I hear you. I wouldn't even consider Jose's first title was sort of the most surprising, because if it hadn't been for the Arsenal Invincibles the year before, Ranieri would have probably won the league with Chelsea. They were a very good team that year. I just want to say before the Chelsea guys jump in, I do think you're right in that, but it's a lot of this is about belief. Chelsea have the ability to win this league, and I tell you as to why. Because Man City are not at their brilliant best, and that's not a dig at Chelsea. If City were at their all-firing best and tracking towards 95 plus points, I think Chelsea's team may be a little too young, a little too inexperienced to get to that level of winning games. But maybe 85 points, 88 points is going to be enough this year. I think they might be able to do that. There's a difference because points totals play a part at times. But to your point, Winter Surfer, which I think is so key for Chelsea fans to take away from today, is to everybody else, it's just Brentford. But you know your club better than any of us. And you don't beat Brentford. And you did today. Like a lot of people said to me when I celebrated earlier, oh, you're still 13th. I know where we are. I know the journey we're going on. But we hadn't won away from home against a top 6 rival since November 2001. Beating any one of you away from home, especially under a new manager, is significant. Also, first Man United manager.
Sorry, 2021.
2021.
I heard you the first stream, and I'm like, I can't be.
Yeah, because I've said it. You know, my dyslexia does this. Once I say it wrong once I've said it wrong once, I'll keep saying it wrong. It's just where my dyslexic brain works. But we haven't won since 2021. Right? I'm going to make myself say it right. Ruben Amorim today was the first ever Man United manager to win his first Manchester derby. To people outside of Man United, I don't expect you to give a damn. The same with Chelsea beating Brentford. A lot of people go, well, we'll beat them at home. Chelsea don't, typically speaking, or haven't beat them at all, home or away. So it's hugely significant. And where I look at what you've said, Mo, is interesting about this Chelsea team. It's when the belief kicks in. A lot of fighters say that when they win their world titles, they improve by 10, 15, 20%, and they start to believe in themselves. I think it's a bit different when you're a football player. And I'd love to ask them this, because I think you can start to believe in a title race, in a run of games. You can just start to see yourself in a very, very different way as a football player. And I think that this Chelsea team is growing very quickly. They are, and their fans embrace the title challenge and the direction they're going in, as opposed to, I don't necessarily think there's the same sort of PTSD that maybe Arsenal fans or even Liverpool fans have, because Chelsea are not sort of renowned with like bottling races as many title races as they are. But look, phenomenal today. Before we got onto Chelsea, I did want to ask, I know it's been briefly touched on by yourselves, Caicedo again today, David, just putting in an absolute great level of performance.
The best midfielder in the Prem currently on form. Sorry, that's what he is. That's what he is. If you see what we do as a team, the whole system, like, he has the ability to play in our right back slot. He has the ability to play in either one of the back two of the box slots. I don't know what you would call them. And when you need it at the end, he is that dickhead who's gonna, cause a foul. He's gonna break up play. He's gonna take the yellow and slow the game down and get his foot on the ball, because that's like mentally that's how he is. And he's an enforcer. He's an enforcer in the midfield, but he can also kick. He can kick ball. The guy's he's incredible baller. For me, I know obviously I'm biased, but that's the best midfielder in the Premier League.
I wanted to touch on. Can I add to what Dave said before? I know you have to Spurs and stuff. The second goal, a lot of midfielders around in the world, and for people that played football know that a lot of defensive midfielders in that situation would contain, would not try to dispossess the opposition to start an attack. He would try to tackle the player to maybe get the ball away from the feet. But he went on that tackle adamant to get the ball to his feet to start an attack. That is why, Terry, they say Kante. Kante used to do that. Kante used to dispossess the opposition and take possession of the ball to start an attack. That is something that not a lot of defensive midfielders do. People contain, people usher the opposition to go back on a pass. But he went on that tackle to get the ball. And that's why I would say 50% of that second goal is for Caicedo. No defensive midfielder around in the current moment will go to dispossess the opposition to start an attack. And that is a sign of someone who has faith in his ability to dispossess the opposition, not only tackle the opposition.
Yes.
It's amazing how today as well, which is one more point, Enzo Maresca trusted him to play a lone DM, by the way. A lone DM. He didn't invert from right back to help Lavia, because Enzo Fernandez, with all due respect, Enzo Fernandez was good, but defensively and in the first half of the field is not great. And today it showed when he lost the ball 3 times in Chelsea's half. Today.
There's a quote from Caicedo just come out here that said, he just said this just now, that N'Golo Kante is my idol. I will try to help the team like he did. He was a very big player. I will try my best. We are enjoying it. We're doing fantastic. Do you know what really sobers me up? Because I've had a few drinks today watching United beat City. Is the fact that when Kante left, I remember thinking, he's a player I love to bits. And I was very fortunate enough to meet him in my old job. The most humble man you could ever wish to meet. He was just, he used to come in sometimes to branches to get money out. We'd have to arrange it for him. But we'd get to a point where we were trying to stop people from asking for autographs, and he'd just sit there for hours signing with everybody. We're like, listen, we want you to leave. He's like, okay, I won't miss my flight. I'll be fine. Lovely bloke. It's sobering the fact you might have someone nearly as good, maybe better in the future. I'm just putting that out there. Because normally when such a great player leaves the club, it's hard to replace them. And you fuckers might just have gone and done it with this guy, you sons of bitches. I'm just going to say that now, you sons of bitches. Massively frustrating. Let's do some of these super chats here. This young Chelsea team has togetherness that has been missing for a long time. Maybe because of similar ages, they will keep growing together. Great point. And you also you clearly as well, and this might come out in the wash, you've clearly removed some people over the last year or two who were not great in the dressing room, that didn't have great relationships with players, and this is what most clubs have to do when they're building their squad to challenge. More competition means more comps means faster injuries, less recovery. So what do you expect the squad size? People like that, but it's a fact. Name all the comps 10 years ago. Now name all the comps in 2024 from 10. Well, there's only one new comp, and that's the World Club Championship. But you're getting paid £60 million for that. That's why clubs are in that bad boy. That's a lot of money, by the way. That's basically like you're in 2 Champions Leagues if you're in that as well. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a huge amount of money. Now, clubs will have to follow suit with Chelsea. Todd Bowley called the Premier League. More comps means more players. It's now 35 to 40 squads, not size, not 25 to 30. Well, you can still only register 23 people, though, can't you?
Yeah.
Or 25 people. So, yeah, I get where you're coming from, Nav, but it's about building squads that are deep into your 23, 24, 25, as opposed to having 40 players. It's about having a deep squad, and Chelsea's is just slowly and surely starting to look deeper and deeper. And you think like that's the midfield, and then Lavia can come on. Like most of the other top 6 don't have a player as good as Kieran Dewsbury Halls who can't kick a ball.
Did you see our subs bench today? Apart from Kuku and possibly Dewsbury Hall, the rest were from Cobham.
Okay, nice.
Tariq Jord. He only made 1 sub today as well, and Kuku was the only sub that came on today.
This is a comment that says, Terry, Don said if Chelsea finish in the top 4 and play well this season, then he has to dye his hair blue and come on straight facts. Someone screenshot this so we don't forget and we remember it. Mo, is Chelsea a threat to Liverpool? And thoughts on the rest, please?
Not yet. Not yet. I think 2 points behind, but I still believe that Liverpool should be the favorites and Chelsea are not yet. I explained, Omar. I explained why. Until February and March, I'm not going to put Chelsea as one of the teams that can win the title, have a bigger period. They have a chance, but not as much as still the others. There are teams to recover yet.
There we go. I personally think we defended well against one of the best attacks in the league. Brentford have scored one more goal than Liverpool. Again, it's very well worth pointing out. Brentford are a good team. Like Chelsea didn't beat some bums today. They're a good team. Grey Wolf Dinner said my favorite performance of the season. Brentford made it incredibly difficult, and we showed strong mentality to see out the win. We are in the race. Big up yourselves, Grey Wolf Dinner. Jord's big result for Tottenham today.
Sorry, I'm going to head off now. Sorry. So
All
I'm
right,
going to head
mate.
off.
Cheers,
now.
bro. Cheers, bro.
Thank you,
big
guys.
result.
Have a good day.
Cheers, my man. Yeah, 5 goals. Maddison with a brace. Looked great today.
Yeah, man. I guess this is life of a Spurs fan. We're sort of used to it now. It's like a toxic relationship. It's either really, really good or you're down in the depths of hell, man. Like, yeah, we've done the business. It's only Southampton. That's one thing I will say. I don't think Spurs fans should get too carried away. As you can see behind me, you may not, but the flag is on the back up. I took the flag down after the last game because I was like, this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. We can't keep doing this. The performances from some of the players just aren't up to par. And so today is one of those ones where I look at it and say, we should have done this. A 5-0 romping of Southampton isn't necessarily a surprise. They are the worst team in the Premier League, and they've only won 1 game this season for a reason. So it was still encouraging. Obviously, a win that we needed, because especially that Man United, the way that you guys performed and got your result out of that City game, that's going to be a huge boost going into that Carabao Cup tie next week. And we needed the same thing. That because I see it, this massive games for both of us. There's 2 new managers. It's a cup competition that either of them are going to want to take serious. And so it's a massive game, and both of our teams needed big wins going into it. So that's exactly where it was today. Maddison, like you said, it was a class Maddison performance, but I've said it far too often for him. He doesn't do this consistently. You know, we've seen this against Southampton, and it's all well and good. And it was 2 great goals, and he generally, the first half performance, he controlled the game. It was all him. But ultimately, we need to see this more consistently from him. So it was good. Really nice to see us put 5 goals away and finish the game in the first half, so we can bring some of the young boys in and on in the second. But definitely not one to get too carried away with, because
I get that.
It's a great 3 points in the race to finish top half of the table for Spurs. Fantastic, like against Man United and the rest of them.
Well, you know, considering City lost, that we're only 4 points off City, so we're not that far away. And
you still believe in the top 4 thing? You still believe Ange can get you the Champions League football next season, or you're targeting a cup now?
We've seen all too often in this top 4 race in the Premier League in general, it doesn't get decided at this point. You could be 10 points off the top 4 at this point and still make top 4 come the end of the season. So it's a long season. I wouldn't write off top 4 too early. I have said that I don't believe we'll make it just because our squad hasn't been consistent enough, you know. But the race is still there. It's still there for anyone to get. Nottingham Forest in a good position, Villa, Bournemouth. There's still a lot of good teams still around there. But yeah, I wouldn't write us off anytime soon.
Do you know what I will say? I get where you're coming from, and I think what was important today for Tottenham and Man United was these wins, because you don't want to get cut adrift from that sort of European chasing pack. And I don't think Man United can make the top 4, but I looked at our performance today, and I think if you can grow some confidence from that, bring some better players in January, move a few out that the manager clearly has got problems with, or maybe one of those 2 or both of them, hopefully get the kick up the arse and behave differently. I think the wins today were really important to ensure that you're not suddenly, you don't want to end up being 3 or 4 victories away from being in a European position. You want to keep it with 1 or 2. You just seen with, like, you know, Brighton were up in top 4 and they haven't won in 4 matches now, so they've dropped right down. Villa a few games ago were sitting 12th, and last night until they went on to lose again, they were sitting in the top 4 at one point. So you just want to, you want to be able to go on a run, but you do need to take a little bit of an L today, Jord. You do need to take a little bit of an L today, because your prediction from earlier on today that United were going to get slapped, bruv, was a crazy one. I bookmarked it. I was like, I want to be able to. I honestly got to the 88th minute, and I was like, well, he's not right because we haven't lost by 3, but I was so happy. I was like, when I see him next, I'm going to shout to him, and you come on the show. So I was like, I just said straight away. I was like, I could do it,
no, I understand it. Well, to be honest, yeah, I was just really surprised. Because before the game, I predicted it to be a draw like a few days ago. Looking at it just off the back of both teams, didn't expect too much, and the game sort of went the way it was. It wasn't going to be too thrilling, and there wasn't too many chances. But when I looked at the fact that there was no Garnacho, no Rashford, I was counting on you guys catching them on the counter, and those two being two key players to this game. And ultimately, we saw Diallo.
I don't think you didn't realize how bad Man City are, to be honest, and how good Amorim is.
I didn't realize,
Amorim is setting up the team against Pep. Seriously, you can't imagine how bad Pep, and no one has seen that Amorim can have a setup like this where Man City looks so mediocre at their ground.
It's just 6 central midfielders playing. Like,
so he has no idea what to do, bro. He played Kevin De Bruyne. But I know that this is not the Man United match action, but if you're watching the game today, and you had no idea what the history has been over the past 5 wins, 1 loss only between Man United and Man City over the past 6 games, you would never have thought that that is a team that coming over a 4-peat, and that is a team that is a 13th in the league. At the home of the 4-peat team, you would never have thought that. If you had no idea what was going on before today, it's the first time ever you're watching a football game, you would never have thought these two teams are so equal.
I got why you tweeted what you did. Obviously, it's all fun and games. What I thought was really significant about the game, which City fans seem to be ignoring, when you beat them in the Carabao Cup, they had 68% of the ball. When Bournemouth beat them, they had 64% of the ball. When Brighton beat them, they had 60% of the ball. When you beat them 4-0, they had 57% of the ball. When they got beat by Juve, they had 68% of the ball. When they were beaten by Liverpool, so I'm just looking at the defeats in this period, not the draws or the wins. In the game against Liverpool, they had 56% of the ball. Today against Man United, 50-50. So I think, again, rivals won't care, but I look at it and we weren't great in the attack, and we were lacking a lot of confidence, and I do understand why. But in all those other 7 games that City have lost, they have dominated the ball in sometimes up to nearly 20% more. The fact that we had the same amount of possession as them at the Etihad, you just said that's the one thing with Amorim that I've been really impressed with. He knows how to adjust depending upon the opponent. And if I look at the game he lost, the Forest game, down to mistakes. You look at the Arsenal game, set pieces. It's set pieces.
He had a better setup than Arsenal in that game. He had a better setup than Arsenal in that game.
I'm confident that if the recruitment is right and we need more speed, better technical football players, I'll be intrigued to see what we look like in a couple of seasons' time. I would, but it's not. Can
I get back to Spurs? And I wanted to ask, I asked George a question. I actually think you have a massive problem, George. Dominic Solanke, way underperforming every single game now. Everyone today played well, very good, and he was just okay. He was just the one that you say today, shine, get a goal, do something. Son is doing things. Kulusevski, the young, the Grays, and he's like Madison, and I'm like watching him, and I'm like, why you're so mediocre? Why you look mediocre?
No, I get what you mean, because I was watching the game and I was like you said, everyone's having fun, getting on the action, you show that you want, because he wasn't really getting shots, but I feel like people they don't understand that Tottenham don't
60 million. No, but have the same energy you have for Havertz. Have the same energy you have for Mount.
No, because the way I keep the same energy for players, but the way we have to look at it is Tottenham don't set up to create for him. How many chances did he have today? None, because we didn't create any chances for him. The chances tend to fall to the other players because the way that we play tends to create chances, majority for both of the wingers. You saw the ball kept going out to Son, the ball kept going out to Kulusevski, and those are literally the prime hotspots for creation on the right side and the left side of the box. So where the areas that Solanke's taken up in the box and in the pitch tends to be when the ball's just falling around in the area.
Your team signed a £60 million striker not to create for him.
Well, no, we signed a £60 million striker for all the other work that he does. I think it's been very clear.
Dominic Solanke last season was a goal scorer.
Yeah, he was, but the way that Tottenham create isn't the same way as Bournemouth create. They used to put a lot of the balls, go to the byline, cut it back, and find Solanke with balls across the floor. Tottenham don't necessarily do that. I think we do too many aerial crosses, and he's not necessarily, he doesn't win that much headers. He's not he's not aerially.
Maybe he's just a smaller
threat.
team player. Maybe some players just a smaller team player.
No, but I
He's
feel
never
like,
gonna
I feel like
shine.
people-
He's never gonna get you where you want.
This is storylines though, because Solanke at the end of the season, when he finishes the season with 16, 17 goals, we're gonna look back and be like, he's had a good season. That's what's expected of him. And right now, yeah, he's not scoring every single game, but he gets goals to Tottenham. His all-round game is good. That's what we need from him. If everyone else is scoring, like our whole front line is scoring, I ain't got a problem if our striker's not scoring 10, 11 right now, because I feel like he's still going to finish on 15 to 20.
Not good enough from him, to be honest. I'm watching the performance. It's not good enough. I think Jackson is better than him at the current moment. There are a lot of players in the league. Mbuemo and Westa look better than him. There's a lot of players that look better than
one
him.
of the best strikers in the league this season. No
So
one
why not Solanke? Which is why not Solanke though? Because create for him. But Jackson, they create some chances today. He made his own chance today in the second goal.
Jackson, he used to be a winger. He used to be a winger.
By the way, that was debunked. I saw that was never the case. He actually played 90% of his games for Villarreal as a striker. Actually, we were told wrong.
But he has the ability to. That's my point. We all just watching him play the ball at his feet. He can dribble the ball. He's good at creating. He's really good in the build-up play. Solanke can be good in the build-up play, but the majority of his work for Tottenham in the 9 is, holding the ball up, helping the team get forward, like literally being the man where you roll the ball into him and do a 1-2 and then play it back out onto the wing. So he does his job for Spurs really well. I just don't think his job for Spurs is to score a lot of goals. We just don't play that way for a striker to score a lot of goals.
Viewer, give us your thoughts, feelings, and opinions on that. Nav here says, "Oi, Terry, forget Plymouth Argyle beating Southampton 5-0. Why do they call Spurs Plymouth Argyle? I don't understand.
It's City that's called Plymouth. That's what Deji calls City. I don't know where they're getting that one.
Oh, maybe that's why he's reversing it. They lose their next game, a myth win. I'm hearing 10 contract on TalkSport on Ange by their fans. Do you know what I will say? Like Deji maybe died the other day when you guys got beaten the Europa League this week, when he just you fat pig, and the manager's like, fuck it out, chill out. A question here for you, Mo. It says a question for Mo. Moresca's set up tactics per game.
Yes, he changes the tactics every game. Today, Chelsea played with a fullback, invert sometimes not. The last game or the 2 games before, he had Enzo Fernandez and Lavia and Caicedo inverting. He sets up different for every game. I don't know if that is sustainable. I've not seen it over the past 7 years in the Premier League. But the fight, as you said, so finishing, I don't know if it's going to work long term. You need to have a style of play that is set. But I think he's hindered by the availability of the center backs, because Tosin is different than having Fofana. So that is the thing. Finishing that to answer the question, he sets up different every game, which is different than the managers you wanted. Everyone wanted a manager with a set style of play, like a Klopp, like a Pep, like a De Zerbi. Maresca's different. But I applaud him that he's getting the results with this, to be honest, guys. Like for him, for me, I'm like looking at him, I'm like, I didn't expect you to be that flexible and that good. I thought you were stubborn, but he's learning, and he's admitting that he's learning, to be honest. 5 games, each one of them was a different tactic. Is kind of crazy, to be honest, and winning 5 games. It's something that not a lot of managers can do. Different teams. Brentford was so hard to break down, but they did at the end. It could have been 3-0 actually before Brentford even scored, but they kept missing chances. And
yeah.
Are we sleeping on Chelsea? Maybe. Do we believe? I still don't believe that they're going to win the league until Liverpool fall off, but Chelsea are doing madness, to be honest. And actually, the last thing is that the squad is not as big as people say. In terms of first team players, it's not as big as people say. We see now.
I think the difference is, though, Mo, is like Terry alluded to earlier, most teams in the Premier League, especially the top 6, have a squad of 14, 15 actual players that they use, whereas Chelsea's is probably closer to 18 to 20 of players that they're using on a regular basis. And yeah, some of them are probably more fringe than others, but they have the options that some of those fringe players can contribute to a certain level, whereas most of us start looking at academy players at that point. Chelsea just have a bunch of other players that can perform at a certain...
The bench today with Joao Felix and Dewsbury Hall in the middle.
That's due to injuries, though, isn't it?
Yeah, because Lavia.
But no, they have quite a few other players out there in general.
No, like you're not going to talk about Chukwuemeka and Caicedo, and you call the Archie Gray is better than Caicedo. Archie Gray is a better player. Chukwuemeka hasn't even been playing for them.
He's a good player, though. We've seen him at Aston Villa when he was playing. He's class.
He's all right. Like he's not a Premier League top 4 even player yet.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, they've got obviously Reece James out, Fofana's out, Pedro Neto was suspended today. You know, so yeah, you throw those 3 players back in, and that bench looks a little bit. That's why I think they'll buy. I think they'll buy personally. This here says, imagine our striker not scoring enough, but still scored the most goals in the league. So we are not only relying on Solanke, is what Mark Smith says. Here.
That's actually crazy. You do know Tottenham have like the second highest goal difference, so we're 10th in the league. We've got the second highest goals scored in 36. Clear of like Arsenal.
Because you don't score when it matters. No, you know the difference. You know what it is. Like
it's not we don't score when it matters.
It's exactly. It's either you win 4-0, 5-0, or you lose 1-0, or 2-1, or you draw 1-1. That is the problem with Spurs. You would rather have 5 more wins, 1-0, than the 2 5-0s. Exactly the point. Like you can have the biggest goal difference, but the points are not on the board. Which is some of the strikers. You know that some of the strikers, you scored the 3rd and the 4th goal. It don't matter. We need you when it's 0-0 and then you win 1 goal. That is what matters.
Yeah. Boys, always a pleasure to sit and speak football with you all. To all of the viewers, thank you. This video is going to refer you over to MHF, so go and watch their review of the weekend's games. We're back tomorrow with a number of shows, including the Top 6 show, 6 p.m. UK time tomorrow, so make sure you're back with us. Take care, goodbye, God bless, and we'll see you all again soon.